Welcome to Public House, intimate conversations with people making a difference in the Hudson Valley. And now, from Paula's Public House in Poughkeepsie, New York, here's Paula Young.
Hi, I'm Paula Young. Welcome to this episode of Public House, which is actually being shot at Paula's Runway Cafe in the airport in the middle of Wappingers Falls. Today, I am really delighted to introduce you to one of the people that does make a serious difference in the Hudson Valley. This is Kelly Lyndgaard from Unshattered.org.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me today, Paula.
I know who you are by reputation. I know who you are by the good work you do. So why don't you tell me who you are?
Absolutely. Well, like you said, I'm Kelly Lyndgaard. I am the founder and CEO of Unshattered, which is a nonprofit social enterprise here in the Hudson Valley that our mission is to end relapse by providing employment and job skills training for women who are winning their battle against addiction.
And relapse of addiction.
Correct.
So are we talking about narcotic? Are we talking about alcohol? Are we talking about any?
All of it.
Mm-hmm. How did you get involved in that?
Yeah, not something I ever thought that I would do with my life.
What is your background?
My background is in engineering and physics.
Okay, you're a smart girl.
So I was with IBM for 16 years.
Okay.
Moved out to the Hudson Valley in 2008 to work for corporate headquarters for IBM and was climbing the corporate ladder. That was going well, and I never dreamed that I would leave that job. But in 2012 at the time, I went to a women's event at my church and heard a couple of women from the Hoving Home down in Garrison share their story of addiction and recovery, and it blew my mind. I used to be the person who thought that people that were struggling with addiction just needed to get their act together and
stop needed to build character.
Stop sticking a needle in your arm and get a job and be more responsible. What's the matter with you? Until I heard some stories. And that night it was the story of a woman who had been 8 years old, broken home. Mom was ill in bed with lupus, and so at 8 she's taking care of her mom, herself, and her brother. Had a 15-year-old friend who thought it would be funny to get an 8-year-old high. Fast forward 10 years, she's a homeless IV drug user, and for the first time I thought, oh, there's no other outcome to that story. She was a child. And getting to know these women's stories and realizing that, as they would say, the drugs weren't the problem. The drugs were actually the solution to a whole lot of other problems. A bad solution, they would admit.
It's an anesthetic to the pain.
To pain. And I had no idea the things that people faced in their lives. So I just fell in love with this group of women who were working hard to get well and to achieve sobriety. And the Hoving Home is an incredible program. Started volunteering there. But I started to see this gap for people after you finish a residential recovery program. In a lot of cases, you maybe haven't had employment before. You maybe didn't have the chance to get an education, or most importantly, you don't have a safe community to go back to other than the one where you were using, which is not a good place to be. So I started this social enterprise nonprofit to help close that gap, because it's not just about employability. In the beginning, I thought it was just job skills and giving people the chance to get hired and have a little bit of a positive track record. But really, you have to close the gap on housing, transportation, safe community, and employment, all at the same time for them to succeed. We've been doing full-time employment for women in recovery for over 3.5 years now, and we've not had a single employee relapse.
I read 100%. That's very impressive. So now, do these women come to you after being incarcerated, or do they just come to you through suggestions from their counselors? How do you find these girls?
We partner with recovery programs across the country. So I don't know, I have no training in the recovery space or social work or anything. Like I said, my background is physics and engineering and business. So they have to have come through a residential recovery program who's done the work of stabilizing, getting them through that initial work of sobriety. Our job is to step in and close that gap between sobriety and long-term success.
Okay. How are you funded?
Well, we have a product. I brought some examples today. So this bag is made from the original 1955 Mercedes-Benz upholstery.
Right. So Unshattered is also a product.
It is a product.
Right. Because I remember you did have a brick and mortar boutique.
We do. In Hopewell, Junction, we do.
And you create pocketbooks, and this is what the women
make
themselves
these
doing.
bags out of all upcycled materials. So we're taking about 3,000 pounds a year of fabric out of the Hudson Valley waste system.
Now, you told me that this was from the Mercedes-Benz. How did you get this fabric?
It was actually a company that does restoration of antique vehicles, had some leftover yardage that donated to us that otherwise they were going to throw it out.
May I open this up and look at it?
Open it up.
So this is basically a man's or a woman's little dot bag, and it's
waterproof liner.
Extremely well made.
Thank you.
I am a fuss pot when it comes to pocketbooks. I don't know if you can see the stitching here. It's beautifully made.
Thank you.
It's a nice strong zipper. Let me see this one.
Okay, so this was a firefighter uniform.
Oh, wow. So this was on the strong muscles of some handsome firefighter.
Exactly, yep.
And then it was donated to you.
Yep.
And again, perfectly good stitching.
Yep.
Really nice. Now, who comes up with the designs?
The team does. This one was, you can tell a little from the back,
Military.
a retired U.S. Army uniform.
Yep. And now,
And then this one's mine, so don't look inside, it's a mess. But this is scrap leather from companies in New York City that are sourcing leather samples to do their high-end, very nice handbags.
yes. Well, actually, I have a Michael Kors bag that looks
Yep.
just like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, it's very nice. So
that's
now,
what-
let me ask you something. A bag like this is sold in your boutique and
Yes.
online. And what would this retail for?
This is $95, so that
Okay.
100% of what you spend on the product goes directly to employment and benefits for women in recovery. Then as a nonprofit organization, I do fundraising to cover the costs of our job creation
Right.
engine. So all the money that somebody spends on the product
I'd spend
is going
$95
back
for
to the
this.
women.
This is snappy and
Yeah.
it's a cool color.
Yeah.
So, aside from the amazing product that you create, how did you come up with making bags?
Yeah. Well, my mom had taught me how to sew growing up, so I knew how to sew. I have always loved a handbag. I always joke that I go to the store to visit the handbags in the same way that some people go to the zoo to visit the animal. I love a good
Okay.
handbag. And then after my grandfather passed away, I had his suede coat that hung in a closet for many, many years. You're never going to get rid of that.
No,
but
not
also
ever.
you're not going to wear it because it's too big and worn out. So at one point I decided, well, I think I'll cut the good pieces of suede out of this and make a handbag out of it. So then fast forward a handful of years when I met these women in recovery, I thought, oh, I think I could teach a couple of them how to sew. I think we could get a couple of leather coats donated. We could do some handbags. In the beginning, we thought we were just doing a fundraiser. And that's how it all started.
That's how it all started.
Now the women run as much of the organization as they possibly can. They're right now on the floor running the boutique. Our production manager has come through our pipeline and has raised up to run the entire team of production. So she's managing production of about $300,000 a year of product, leading a team of 11 women.
And now, are you only in the Hudson Valley, or have you made a bigger, wider net now to get
Yeah.
incorporating into other places?
Yeah, so our headquarters is here. We have a boutique here. We actually have outgrown the space that we're in. So our goal in 2020, we are about to sign on the dotted line to purchase a property to expand.
Is that here in the Hudson Valley?
It is here in the Hudson
you're
Valley.
going to tell me
so
where?
We have
You're going to give me a little hint?
Fishkill.
Okay, that's a big hint. Fishkill. Not too far from my cafe.
Yeah,
or my
not
restaurant.
too far at all. Yep. Yeah, so we are looking to grow and serve more women because we know that we have a model that is very, very successful. We have a product that we can hardly keep on the shelves, and we have a waiting list of women that I have had to turn a few away because I just literally don't have the physical space for them.
All right, so now let's talk a little bit about the women that come in and
Yeah.
their personal growth. I learned to sew doll clothes when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right? Because I could make little dolly clothes. I could never make but my stepsister could make shoes and things. So it was like, wow, amazing. So a woman comes in. She has had a very unfortunate life, made some poor decisions, and life has not been kind to her. How do you start? You say, here's a sewing machine, here's a bobbin. I mean, how do you?
Right, yeah. I mean, sewing is not easy.
No,
the majority
it's
of the
not.
women that have come to us probably have not threaded a needle before. A few of them maybe have had a home ec class in middle school, but the team trains each other. And so
Okay.
when somebody new comes in, they start with basic sewing a straight line. When you get that, you learn how to put a label on because it's 4 straight lines in a
Yes,
square.
yes.
And
It's
when
like
you
what
learn
I
that,
can iron, a
yeah,
handkerchief.
exactly. You can then put 2 sides together. So you really literally start with basic straight line and then a square and then the bigger rectangles and then marrying the pieces together. So they teach each other.
What about community volunteers? I know for a fact that out there are dozens and dozens and dozens of ladies who are retired,
Yes.
some of them older,
Yep.
and they all knew how to sew because my mother-in-law knew how to sew, my mother knew how to sew. Can they volunteer? Can they come in
Yeah,
and volunteer with you?
that's not the area that we take most of our volunteers. Actually, what works for us leveraging the community in a volunteer role is the fact that we're not just employment. So we wrap our employment around an ongoing personal professional development curriculum. So in their 40-hour work week, they're also getting about 4 hours of ongoing personal professional skill set. Because we know that for a lot of them, they were living in trauma, living in devastation, living on the streets, and they you're in survival mode.
Yeah.
And so you're just missing a lot of the things that are going to
You
serve you
really
well
aren't learning
to
the
become
things you need. You're learning
Right.
how to live till tomorrow.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. And so once a week we do what we call lunch and learn session. So we have professionals in the community who come in, who do about an hour-long session teaching anything from basic budgeting to, yesterday we had a woman from the American Heart Association talk about healthy eating. We've had the Dutchess County Poet Laureate come in and do a creative writing class.
I love Bettina. She's amazing,
Yeah.
Poet Gold.
Yeah.
Now, these classes take place in your brick and mortar facility, or do you?
They do.
They do.
Yes.
Wow, this is an impressive body of work, my friend.
Well,
and
thank you
how
so
long
much.
have you been doing this?
The project started about 5 years ago. We didn't incorporate until the end of 2016. Kind of the model evolved a little bit along the way, but we've been doing full-time employment for women in recovery now for 3.5 years.
And how many women right now?
We have 11 women on our team right now.
And that is great.
Thank you.
So, where do I find this beautiful pocketbook other than coming into where is the actual store located?
Yeah, it's on Route 82 in Hopewell Junction, just about a mile east of Hopewell Junction. You can stop in our boutique there and
I know
shop.
it's on the right and it's kind of down a driveway.
Yep.
Right? Yes,
a
I've
little
seen the
bit.
sign.
Yeah, it's right
Yeah.
next to Valley Christian Church, A&G Auto.
And what about the website?
Yep, so you can shop online at unshattered.org. We do wholesale, so we have about 15 stores that we sell wholesale around the country. If you know any boutiques that you think our products should be in around the
I
country,
think you should
let
talk
us
to
know.
Bloomingdale's personally.
Yeah, exactly. And we do custom as well. So if you have a family heirloom, like I mentioned, my grandfather's coat, we do handbags out of family heirlooms. So we had a woman come in just this week with her mom's apron.
Aw.
So she's doing makeup kits for herself and her two sisters out of her mom's apron for Christmas. But we have done it out of uniforms. Last year we cut up a $15,000 wedding gown and made handbags out of that.
Well, you know what? It lives on.
Yep, leather coats. We've made a toiletry kit out of somebody's pair of running shoes, believe it or not.
Well, I
So-
am not about purchasing. I'm about remaking. I am
Exactly.
a recycler. I pull
Yep.
things out of the garbage and rinse
Yeah.
them off and put them in recycling. So
Yeah,
for
because
this
everybody
is totally
has something hanging in a closet that you're never going to get rid of, but it's special. You want
course
to
it
keep it
is.
forever, but you're also not going to use it in its current state.
Listen, Kelly Lyndgaard, you are a force of nature, an extraordinarily impressive woman.
thank you.
Thank you for sitting on my couch.
Thank you for having me
I
here.
really
I appreciate it. It was
it.
nice to get to know you. Thank you for all your work in the community.
Thank you very much. That's very
Grateful to
sweet.
have you here.
It's almost time to shop. Actually, it's always time to shop if you're a girl, and especially time to shop something that is reused, renewed, recycled. Could be nothing better than something like this. They have gifts for men. On top of that, this is just an amazing community asset. So thanks for listening. I'll see you soon. Kelly, that was awesome. Thanks a lot.
It's Crossroads Gift Shop.
Hi, I'm Paula Young, and I'm the proprietor here of Paula's Public House. Do join me for good food, good cheer, and good fellowship. We are here, we have fun, and we'd love to have you be a part of it. Come on down.